Well, e-hailing drivers from services such as Uber, Bolt and Didi have gone on strike. They say their efforts will culminate in a national shutdown on Thursday. Drivers say they just can't make ends meet as companies compete to undercut one another on prices. They also contend that the market is oversaturated and that government just doesn't care about their plight. Well, today's main protest in Pretoria will head to the union buildings, lodging its grievances at the Department of Trade and Industry and Competition. Pule Letshwiti-Jones is there and joins us now. Pule, good morning to you.
Morning, Annika.
Pule, we understand that there'll be a march to the union buildings. What is the actual problem? Is the main grievance with government or with the actual companies themselves who are not paying the e-hailing drivers enough and taking too much of a cut?
Well, from what we've gathered since being on the ground, it seems like the problems are coming from both companies and, of course, government, whereby in companies they're saying they've cited security reasons as to saying that these are some of the concerns that haven't been taken seriously by some of the e-hailing companies. And whereas with government, they've called for a much more regulatory system, which they believe has been promised by government to be implemented for quite some time, but that has not been the case. But just to get more clarity, I'm speaking to one of the drivers here who has joined the strike as well and has decided to abandon the services just for today until Thursday. Maybe thank you very much for joining us here on ENCA. Now, there's quite a lot of challenges that you've put on the table. What are some of those that you want the governments and, of course, the e-hailing companies to listen to address your issues?
Well, we've tried the e-hailing companies, but seems like they're not interested in what we cry about. So I think it will be best now to include the government, because these companies came through the government. For them to be allowed in our country is because of the government. Right now we are calling the government to intervene because now these apps, when we cry, they just block you and delete you out of the system. They don't even care if you have a car or not. You get hijacked, these apps are doing nothing about it.
My brother, there seems to be a problem with some of the Uber drivers and Bolt drivers who have not been joining the strike. I see you're requesting they come here, then you force them to come into the march. Was it part of the agreement? Do you think that you don't have enough support backing you guys up?
Well, not that we don't have enough support. Well, most people, this thing has been on for almost a month. That we told them that today they're going to be a national shutdown. It's not about Gauteng, it's not about Pretoria. It's a national shutdown. Everywhere around where e-hailing are operating around the area, it's a national shutdowns. It's not only us who are doing these things. Ekurhuleni is doing the same, and Durban is doing the same, Cape Town is doing the same, Mafikeng is doing the same. We all have the leaders from around all over the country so that we can know what's up, what's happening, and then we can fight this thing together.
And how much have you given the companies and, of course, government time to respond to your challenges?
That one I'm not sure, but there was a meeting that was held with the MEC yesterday. So I'm not sure on the details on how it go about, because I was very busy yesterday. I couldn't communicate with the guys who went there.
Thank you very much, Bestman. That's, of course, the meeting that took place which was between the MEC of Transport, Jacob Mambulo in Gauteng, and, of course, Unity in Diversity, representing the e-hailing services drivers. But I'm just going to bring in one more driver just to get one more voice, Annika, to get the sense of their grievances here. My brother, thank you very much for joining us. Now, maybe we've heard from what Bestman said. What are your complaints as well? Do you feel as though your issues haven't been addressed as well?
Yes, basically, we've been writing via the app. That's the only means of communication we've had between the e-hailing and these drivers. And all we're asking for now, we're actually asking that we are also an employee of either Bolt, Uber, or any of these apps. We ought to be treated like an employee of the organization at the same time. The protection of the drivers, also with the protection of the passengers. Now, we are telling them that we need more protection in terms of being hijacked, in terms of fighting. We need a collaboration either with the Taxi Drivers Association or what to join. You know, we can't be driving and we are afraid of our life, we are afraid of the safety of the drivers and the passengers, and the taxis, our taxis are being hijacked at the same time. Then we need them to also put a form of security between the passengers and the driver. Now, I took a passenger to a place. The passenger is going there to rob, and he has registered with only cash option. What is the identity of the passenger, which they have to follow my own number plate? Okay. What is the picture of the driver at the same time? Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay. Now, we'll be with you throughout the rest of the day, but we've got the sense of the issues that are going on there. But, Adika, those are just some of the challenges which these drivers have raised in terms of safety issues. But I'm just going to ask my colleague to pan on my right-hand side, just so I can give you a sense of what's going on. So what happens is that they request a trip from here where we are situated, Marabastad, to the airport. The driver then comes here, thinking he's going to pick up a client. Then they are forced to join the march. And what we're getting here is that there was a lack of support from some of the e-hailing drivers who opted to go work rather than support the strike. But it seems as though they are pulling everyone in to add weight to try and send a message to the companies and, of course, the Department of Transport in the province.
Okay, Pule, it sounds like some drivers may be intimidated later on today, and we hope that isn't the case, but we'll keep in touch with you throughout the morning.